Alright everyone, welcome to the channel. It's All in Tech because I'm all about tech. And I've been having a bunch of people hit me up asking me questions about crafting, what machine should they get, all that stuff. So this video is going to give you all of the information that you need to decide what direction you want to go. Alright, so now first thing people always talk about is budget. You know, what is your budget? How much money do you have to spend? How much money do you want to spend? You know, what are you trying to get into? What are you trying to do? I'm going to give you all that information today. First thing we're going to start off with is your budget. Hey, say your budget is $100. $100 and that's all you have is $100, but you want to get into crafting. What I would tell you to do is just get a heat press. Get a heat press and take it from there. Now, the reason why I would say that is there's a Cricut that you can get. I'll put it right here. You can get that Cricut. The regular price for it, the real price for it when it's brand new is like 200 and change. But you could buy it pre-owned. Facebook Marketplace. Wherever you want to go and look for used stuff, just go there and get it from there. Just make sure it's heating up when you plug it in, and that's it. The good thing about the Cricut one that I'm showing you right here is the heating is very good and is distributed towards the whole thing. Because the problem with a lot of these cheap heat press is one part of the heat press might be 300, the next part might be 290, next part might be 280. You want to make sure you have consistent heat throughout the whole thing. Okay, so if you put it at 300, you want the whole planting to be 300, not some of it. So that's what I would recommend for people that's on a really cheap budget. Just get yourself this heat press right here, and then when you get that heat press, what you could do is buy your transfer sheets from different companies. There's Supercolor, there's Ninja, there's so many other, there's TKO, there's so many companies out there that's selling transfers for different prices. A lot of them is they're doing it based on the colors and all that stuff, depending on how much colors your image might have. Just try to get yourself some of those transfer sheets and just heat press them on. That's it. So that's for people that is trying to get into crafting but don't have money to buy a printer or none of those things. Just get yourself one of those heat press. Now if you have a little bit more budget to play with, say you have about $300 to play with. You have the $300 and you want to get into crafting. Now, what would I recommend for $300? Well, I would recommend you get a vinyl cutter. A vinyl cutter, a Cricut vinyl cutter. Buy a used one. You don't have to buy anything brand new. You could buy it used. Buy a used vinyl cutter. They have the old ones, the Cricut 2, and they have the 3, they have the Maker, they have a whole bunch of different variation. I don't care which one you pick, just grab one of the big ones, the one that's cuts to 12 by 12, right? So you're going to get that, and you're going to get yourself a heat press. And just like that, you could get into crafting. What people don't understand is there's certain things you could do with vinyl that you cannot mimic with printing. You cannot mimic with embroidery. So I would forever keep my vinyl cutter. My vinyl cutter is not going anywhere. Like I use my vinyl cutter for, you could use it on cups. You could use it to do decals on cars, decals on windows for like businesses. You can do so much things with vinyl. Like you have glitter vinyl. For example, look at this. This is glitter vinyl. You see the vibrancy that you get from vinyl? You'll never be able to mimic that with DTG or DTF, any one of those things. They cannot compete with vinyl. So vinyl cutter, heat press, the same heat press I showed you before. Those two things right there, you're good to go for a $300 budget. And you don't have to worry about nothing. Just do some simple designs, do some words, little paragraph or any little thing that you, quotes that you like, just throw it on there. And just like that, you could do some other designs. You could do more intricate stuff, but start off being basic, doing simple things first, then get used to it, and then you could branch out to doing other stuff. Because I could show you some really advanced stuff that I've done with vinyl, and you could see, and honestly, you would never think that you can actually pull that off with vinyl, but you can. I'm talking about layering different colors on top of each other, certain designs and certain things, you could do it. but it's a learning curve. And you have videos out there of plenty of people on YouTube teaching you how to do that. So now let's keep upping it. So now say your budget is $500. $500. Do I recommend you getting a printer and now getting into printing and all that stuff? No. No. I would say get yourself a really good heat press. A really good heat press would be Heatpress Nation. Heatpress Nation has a bunch of great heat presses. They have their signature series, which is one of the ones I have. I have a 16 by 20, but you don't need nothing that big. The biggest you should buy, honestly, is 15 by 15. You don't need nothing bigger than a 15 by 15. 15 by 15 suffice to do any kind of designs, because no matter how big the shirt is, it could be a 4X, 3X, whatever, it doesn't matter. It can fit on that 15 by 15, and whatever design you're putting is usually nothing wider than 12 inches. It's very rare you have anybody doing anything crazy wide, but it's usually typically 12 inches, 10 inches, 8 inches. People are not really doing nothing drastic. So you don't need a pattern that's bigger than 15 by 15. You don't. The length now, of course, that's different, you know, because when you're doing a t-shirt, the width is not usually as long as the length, depending on what kind of designs you're doing. So yeah, 15 by 15 Heatpress Nation. There's other good heat presses out there. I guess I would list the names of other companies that I know it's good, but Heatpress Nation is the one that I hear everybody brag about, and I have it myself, so I can tell you it's great, it's consistent, it's amazing. So I'm just talking from experience. Now, say you have $1,000 and you want to get into printing. The machine that I use is, I have a Sawgrass 1000, no, not a 1000, an 800. So I have an SG 800 and I have an SG 400, which is the older series. You know, right now they're doing the SG 500 and the SG 1000. Those are the newer versions of the printer that I have. Now, would I recommend getting one of those printers? Sure. I think they're great printers, great sublimation printers. The great thing about it is they maintain itself once you keep the machine plugged in. It maintains itself, so whenever you power it on, it does like a quick maintenance and it's ready and it's good to go. You don't have to worry about the ink getting clogged. You don't got to worry about changing the head or none of those things. Just know that you turn it on and it's good to go. The only issues I've had is sometimes you have to open it up and clean certain parts of it because you see extra ink coming on the paper, and you don't want that to happen, right? So that's the only thing that I've had so far. And their ink are very pricey, but you get what you pay for. So if you do want to get into printing, then of course you get yourself a Sawgrass, you do sublimation, and of course there's a good and bad to every kind of printing methods, right? So sublimation now, it's very vibrant, it's nice, it's great quality, and you could use it on like sublimation blanks, like cups and a whole bunch of different things you could do it on. And you don't have to worry about it cracking, you don't have to worry about it peeling. It lasts forever. It's phenomenal. Sublimation is my favorite way of printing. It's actually great, but there is a limit to what you could do with it. It only works on polyester. And of course, if your shirt has 50% polyester, 60%, it can still work, but it won't be as vibrant. Because you know you have poly blend out there where it's half polyester, half cotton, and you can definitely sublimate on that. But just know that it's going to look vintage, it's going to look faded, it's not going to look as vibrant as if the shirt was 80%, 90%, 100% polyester. So that is the issue with sublimation, and it's limited to light colors. You can't do black. You can't do like any like navy blue or nothing like that. You only could do light colors. You could do like light orange, you could do light blue, you could do gray, all those colors, you could do those colors, but you can't do dark colors, and you can't do cotton, you can't do any other material except for polyester. It has to have some form of polyester in it. So that is the limit. that sublimation has. I would tell you guys from now, I do not recommend you getting into DTG or getting into DTF machines. If you are not a big business that's buying the really big expensive machines and you have a clientele going for you. If you don't have a clientele where you're getting a bunch of orders all the time, I would never recommend doing it. Because a lot of people, what they don't know is when you have those machines, it's a lot of maintenance to those machines. The reason why I recommended the Sawgrass, there's no maintenance. But now the DTG machine, huge maintenance. DTF machine, huge maintenance. Even the white toner, all those things, there's a lot of maintenance to them. And what a lot of people are doing, they're buying printers and converting them into DTF machines. And the problem with that is, those machines, if you don't use them consistently, because you have to use those machines all the time, and if you don't use them all the time, the ink get clogged. The ink get clogged. There's a lot of problems to get those inks to clear the lines and to fix them. You have to get somebody to fix them if you don't know how to do it yourself. If you're a person that's not a hands-on person, you're gonna have to get somebody to come out and fix it for you. And a lot of those machines, the head of it goes out. And the problem with the head going out is the amount of money it costs to replace the head, the print head. You might as well buy a new printer and do the whole thing over again. So I would not recommend you convert any printer into a DTF printer. I would not recommend it at all, honestly. I would say don't go into that field, because you'll be surprised to know how many people that have DTF and DTG machines are trying to sell them for next to nothing. They're complaining because you don't even know that the room that the printer is in has to be in a certain temperature. The DTF and the DTG machine has to be in a room with a certain temperature. So you always have to make sure the room is that temperature at all times. It doesn't matter if it's winter, summer, what it is. The room temperature has to be a certain temperature. It cannot fluctuate and go too hot or too cold. It has to be a certain temperature at all times. So that's another thing you got to think about. So if you have a room that you're putting these things in and you're not able to regulate and keep the temperature at one consistent temperature, that's a problem. So do not get yourself into these, I know you see people on Instagram and all these places, they're bragging about printing and they're just making it seem like it's the easiest, best thing ever. Honestly, if you have all that money in the world, get yourself, I would say another thing that I think you could get that's going to cost you a decent amount of money, but it's not going to kill your pockets, is an embroidery machine. But of course, embroidery machines are very expensive, $10,000, $15,000. You have some really, really expensive embroidery machines, and some of 10 needles and all kind. It's a lot. But now you spending 10 grand on something you don't have a clientele for. You don't have the machine sitting there collecting dust. You're gonna lose a lot of money investing in these really expensive machines. Do not buy no expensive machine unless you have the clientele for it. And there's people that have clientele and they still don't buy those machines because they know the headache behind it. You know what they do? They outsource it. They buy it from Supercolor, they buy the blanks, the designs from whosoever it is, and get transfer sheets, and they just cut the design out, heat press it on. Just get yourself a really good heat press, press it on. So that's what I would recommend. If you are planning on going into this and making it a business, small business, just buy yourself a really good heat press and just heat press your designs on. If you're just a hobby, then get the Cricut heat press and just do that by your hand. 99.9% of the times, that's what I use. And I'm running it as a business. The only way I'm going to turn on my big heat press is unless I have a really big order. I'm trying to make 20 shirts, 30 shirts in one setting. Boom, boom, boom. Then I'll turn on my heat press. But if it's like 1 or 2 shirts, which is what I usually make, 1 or 2 shirts here and there, I don't need to turn on that big heat press to do 1 or 2 shirts. And that takes 15 minutes to heat up. I turn this little Cricut one on. Takes me 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and just like that, I can finish the shirt before the other heat press even heats up. You got to think before you buy stuff. And not because you have access to the money, that means you should just spend it just because you have it. No. So if you do have $1,000 to blow, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 to blow, and you want to get into it, get yourself a sublimation machine. Get the Sawgrass. Get the Sawgrass. And look it up. And don't take my word for anything. Look up the Sawgrass. See what they're known for. See what they're great at. And across the board, everybody just say the same thing. They're really good machines. They do really good quality work. Their software is good. Well, not right now. Their software is all over the place. But in general, their software was good. Their print was good. They're fast. They're great on maintenance. It's a great machine. But like I said, it's very limited, so you got to be mindful of that. Now, I spoke briefly about embroidery. So I got into embroidery, and it's one of my favorite things to do, but it's very, very time consuming. And no, I did not buy one of those $10,000 machines. I don't have that type of money to blow. But the machine that I have, which is this right here, it's a Brother PE800. And they have other brothers. They have the brothers, like this one is only an embroidery machine. They have some that double as an embroidery machine and a sewing machine. So you can pick to get one of those. If you're good at sewing, you know about sewing, you could do both. You can make it an embroidery machine and a sewing machine and do both. The great thing about that machine, or these machines, is they don't cost $5,000. They don't cost $10,000. You can literally invest in an embroidery machine, this one, and you can find it for $900, $800. If you buy it used, you can get it cheaper. So brand new, you're getting it for $1,000 or less. Used, you're getting it for probably $600, $700. And the great thing about these machines is they're very user-friendly. Very user-friendly. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, because I will start making videos on that machine. I haven't made much videos about that machine at all. All I did was on the Cricut, and I didn't even do much videos on my Sawgrass printer or nothing like that. But I definitely going to make some videos on my PE800 because it's one of my best way of doing designs, because I know it's durable. You can put it in the washer, you can put it in the dryer, you don't have to worry about it fading, cracking, peeling, none of that stuff. Embroidery is definitely one of the best way to do designs. So yes, make sure you guys subscribe, so when I start making videos about that machine, you guys can get educated on it and decide if you want to go down that road or not. But do not get up and waste your money on all these machines because you have the money to it, because there's a lot of people that made that mistake and they cannot get it back, because you spend $10,000 on something and then you're trying to flip it, and then you realize that nobody's willing to spend the amount of money that you spend for it, and you keep lowballing it. You're bringing it down till you get to a point where you're just taking a loss, a complete loss, because you cannot get somebody to buy the machine for what you paid for it. Alright, so if you guys want to hit me up in the comment section, ask me any questions about any of these machines, I'm down. You know, and if you don't want to go to the Cricut, the next one, I forgot the name of the next cutting machine, but they sell it also in Michaels and all of them. I'll put it right here. You guys could get into that one too. I've heard amazing things about that one. The software is different when it comes to the machine, but they have more flexibility, if I'm not mistaken, because you don't need a mat to do the cutting on. And I know with the Cricut you need a smart vinyl to do all that stuff. With that machine, I don't think you need that. So you can get into that. I can't teach you about the software or how to use it, but across the board they're typically the same thing, right? So you already know what it is. No, you. See? Sheesh, I saw it. I was like, where's it going? Where's it going?
That fake beef. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was real. Of course it is real. That is my very own hairs on my little chinny chin chin.
If it's your first time here, welcome. Make sure you guys come back. Alright, you already know what it is. Skadoosh.
To make me feel again. Suffocate to make me breathe again. Lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change. ocean.